All right, project number three. Pretty entertaining one, I believe. Anyways, hair coloring and tattoo. Um, if you want to do this project with yourself, your own hair and stuff like that, I do have a tutorial under resources on how to add a picture from your phone onto Photoshop. But your two options here are for this first one, anyways, for learning is to just pick a celebrity off of the internet. Now, for this to work, we want their hair to be at least shoulder length. So we can get some practice and repetition in there. And also have a spot to put a tattoo, multiple tattoos on there somewhere. So this will be broken up into two parts. It'll be the hair coloring part, then I'll do a separate tattoo part on there too. So, um, a picture. This is what the end results are. There's a million Photoshop tutorials on how to do this. It's kind of just my best guess there. So let's say I was gonna find someone to do that with. Let's just type in Carrie Underwood. I would want to search tools and go to large, and then look through here. So on one like this, for example, would work because the hair is long enough, and I could put some tattoos on the arm. But if you had one that was kind of a close up like that, maybe there's not a good spot to put a tattoo on there. For my example picture, I have one that's I wouldn't recommend using. Because the hair is not too long, is not long enough, but it's also really far away. So when you try to actually zoom in to do the work, you don't get that high quality image there still. It's not as crisp. So when you're trying to do like the frizzies in the hair and stuff, it's hard to do. But when you zoom out, it still actually looks okay. So I'm going to slide. I don't know where to put myself here. Kind of go here because I do need the new layer icon here. So you have your picture in there. You pasted it in, you resized it. And now you have to make a new layer. So you do not want to color the hair on your original layer. If you think you're going to do it and you want to kind of warn yourself, you can double click and actually name your layer. Don't color here. Someone always does it. It's really hard to fix. You almost got to restart. So try to remember to add a new layer. And that's down here by the trash bin icon right next to it. There's a little square with a plus sign in it. That is add a new layer, and you can see it pop up right there. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to set up my brush. On the left-hand side here, you should have your brush tool. The rule of thumb with the brush is whenever you need a defined edge, you want to have a hard brush. And if you ever are doing a lot of blending or stuff like that, you'd want to use a soft brush. So in this case, with hair, adding hair and stuff like that, I'm going to want a soft brush. So up here you have your different brush presets. You can go and hit the drop down on general brushes. You see soft round, hard round. 90% of the time for intro level graphics, we're using these two. So I'm going to click the soft one, and after I pick my color down here, I am going to be essentially ready to rock. Now, at the end, I'll show you a way to change the hair color to any color you want to. But for now, it's going to be pink. Also up here, because we learned if you click on the brush, you get all your subcategories on there. This opacity can be left alone. I usually have it around 60 because it's on its own layer, we can adjust that after. So if you were to color on this layer, let's just give you an example what not to do. And you were coloring the hair, you have to go back and erase at the end. So if I were to take my eraser tool and try to go back in, soft eraser, it's not going to just erase the hair, it's going to erase everything on this layer too, which is the original picture. Hence why you want to do this on a brand new layer. Let's see if I can go back a couple steps here. Now if I'm on this layer and I'm brushing, and I go outside of the lines or whatever, that's fine. Now when I go back in with my eraser, I can erase just what's on that layer. So let's go through and I'll just do one person on here. So I have my brush and zoom in. And you can kind of go somewhat quick here. It depends on if you want to spend more time erasing or if you want to brush, if you don't want to do either. But I'm going to just do my best to color what's on there. Just a reminder, the zooms are control plus and control minus. And you see some people that change colors halfway through and they make it look really cool. I'm just for the demo purposes, I'm going to just do a solid color here. And once I tend to ignore some of the really faint, I don't know if you want to call them like straight strands of hair there, but once you get into like this part right here, it actually becomes pretty difficult where you're going to want to zoom in, and that's where the close-up picture really helps, because you can see right now it's pretty distorted on mine. But I will try to at least get some kind of color in here. Maybe if you have a person with really frizzy hair, you want to maybe pick a different one just for your practice round. So I will just kind of quickly finish this up here. All right, so once I have a general hair colored, I would want to go back in with the eraser tool. And I would want to get all the stuff that should not have been brushed. So I'm gonna take my eraser tool, same thing with it being soft, and I'm just gonna kind of go through and clean up where it should not have been colored. So now, what you want to do is a brand new concept. It is these layer modes, these blending modes here. By default, it's always on normal. And what you can do is play around with these and see which one is going to look the best. You see in real time as I move over them, there might be a slight lag. You can kind of see which ones, and some might not do anything, some might make it disappear. We can see which ones you think look the best or generally the most realistic. So I'm going to go soft light here. And then I can also play with this opacity here so that you can actually make it look pretty realistic there. Now, once you have that, I did mention how at the end you can change it to be pretty much whatever color you want. And that's more of an advanced concept, but it's not too hard to follow. So on the bottom here where we had the delete layer and add a new layer, you have this half shaded circle. And if you click on that, you can go to Hue Saturation. And what that'll do is bring up a brand new layer and also have this little pop-out box here. And what you can do with this hue is slide it back and forth and it'll change the color of the whole thing. Here's the catch. Watch what happens when I do it right now. Not only does it change the hair, but you can see that it changes pretty much everything in the picture. So she kind of looks like the girl from Willy Wonka that ate the blueberry there. To avoid that, what you can do on the hue and saturation layer, just right click right where it says hue and saturation and create a clipping mask. What a clipping mask does is it only lets this layer be applied to the one directly below that. See the little arrow that popped out? So now this hue and saturation thing is only on that layer, which is the layer that we color the hair on. So now you see when I drag it back and forth, I can pick whatever color hair I want. And saturation is how vibrant, how much color is actually on there. So like all the way down would be black and white or nothing. And then lightness, darkness is self-explanatory. So that is the hair coloring and tattoo. The second half, which will be on a different video, is how to add the tattoo onto this project.